The reunion of 101 in 2026 honestly feels like something fans never truly got over. Even after all these years, the group still has this emotional connection with people who watched them rise together. And now, with 101 Go, back to base, bringing the members together again, it feels like nostalgia is hitting harder than ever. But what makes this even more interesting is how many former members are now building serious acting careers, and not just idol actor side projects either. Some of these dramas and movies are becoming massive hits, and people who never even followed 101 are starting to recognize them purely as actors. What I personally love the most is seeing how differently each member approaches acting. Some go straight into emotional roles, others choose fantasy or comedy, and some surprise everyone with smaller but unforgettable performances. So today, let's talk about 6 acting projects from former 101 members in 2026 that are proving they are more in demand than ever. And honestly, some of these projects look way more interesting than I expected. Park Ji Hoon, The King's Warden. I think Park Ji Hoon might be having one of the strongest acting years among all former 101 members right now. The fact that The King's Warden became one of the highest-grossing Korean films ever is already impressive, but what surprises me even more is how much people are praising his acting specifically. Because let's be honest, historical films can sometimes feel distant or overly serious, especially for younger audiences. But somehow this movie managed to create emotional storytelling that even casual viewers connected with. The story itself already sounds powerful. A village voluntarily asking to become the exile location for a dethroned king sounds simple at first, but then you realize there's this deeper layer about survival, morality, and humanity. And Park Ji Hoon playing King Danjong feels like such an important step for his career because this role demands emotional maturity. He's not just playing a cute or charismatic lead anymore. He has to portray loneliness, betrayal, and this painful feeling of losing power while still trying to connect with ordinary people. What I find interesting is how audiences keep mentioning the chemistry between Park Ji Hoon and Yoo Hae-jin. That intergenerational dynamic seems to be carrying a lot of emotional weight in the film. Honestly, I think this is exactly the kind of project idol actors need if they want long-term respect in the industry. Instead of relying on popularity alone, Park Ji Hoon chose a role that could genuinely challenge him as an actor. And I'm curious what you guys think about this trend lately, where younger actors are dominating Sajic films. Do you think audiences are becoming more open to idol actors in historical projects now compared to years ago? The Legend of Kitchen Soldier. What makes Park Ji Hoon's 2026 even crazier is that he immediately switched genres after The King's Warden with The Legend of Kitchen Soldier. And honestly, this drama sounds completely chaotic in the best possible way. Military comedy mixed with fantasy and mystery? That already sounds like the kind of drama people either become obsessed with or completely confused by. The concept of a soldier discovering a mysterious virtual quest system inside a military base feels almost like a Korean drama version of a game fantasy storyline. But then the story adds cooking, hidden conspiracies, and even his father's death mystery into the mix. It sounds wild, but that unpredictability is exactly why people are talking about it. I personally think Park Ji Hoon fits these quirky fantasy roles really well because he naturally has expressive reactions that work perfectly in comedy scenes. At the same time, he can suddenly switch into emotional moments without making them feel awkward. That balance is difficult for many actors. Also, can we talk about how unusual it is to make a military drama centered around a cook instead of soldiers fighting? That alone already makes it stand out from typical military series. I feel like Korean dramas lately are becoming more experimental with genre combinations, and honestly, I prefer that over repetitive romance plots. What I'm really curious about is whether this drama will focus more on comedy or mystery later on. Because if the hidden secrets inside the military base become darker, this could end up being much deeper than people initially expect. Sometimes the weirdest drama concepts end up becoming surprise hits. Hwang Min Hyun, Study Group Season 2. Now moving to Hwang Min Hyun, I think Study Group becoming successful was one of the biggest surprises for many viewers. A lot of people expected another typical school action drama, but the first season actually built a loyal fan base because of its balance between humor, friendship, and action scenes. And honestly, Hwang Min Hyun fits the role of Yoon Ga-min so naturally. He has this calm visual that makes people underestimate him, which works perfectly for a character who looks harmless but can suddenly destroy opponents in fights. That contrast became one of the most entertaining parts of the series. Season 2 sounds even bigger because now the threats are more dangerous, and the unresolved mystery from the first season is finally continuing. I think one reason fans became attached to Study Group is because underneath all the action, the story is really about protecting friends and trying to survive in a toxic school environment. Personally, I'm very interested to see how much darker Season 2 becomes. Korean school dramas lately have become extremely intense compared to older generations of dramas. Years ago, school dramas were mostly romance and comedy. Now students are fighting criminal organizations and corrupt systems every week. But I also think Hwang Min Hyun benefits from choosing a role that feels physically active and emotionally restrained at the same time. Instead of forcing exaggerated emotions, he plays Yoon Ga-min with subtle reactions, and somehow that makes the character more believable. And let's be honest, action scenes can completely change how audiences see idol actors. Once viewers believe an actor can handle physical roles convincingly, their image becomes much stronger overall. Do you guys think Study Group Season 2 can become even bigger than the first season, or are sequels usually harder to maintain? Ong Seong Wu, chilling romance. Ong Seong Wu has always had this interesting screen presence where he feels both warm and mysterious at the same time. So I'm actually not surprised he keeps getting cast in fantasy and romance projects. But chilling romance sounds especially interesting because the genre combination is honestly kind of crazy. Romantic comedy, horror, and fantasy together can either become iconic or become a total mess. There's rarely an in-between. But the idea of a hotel heiress who sees ghosts already creates a unique atmosphere, especially with the luxurious hotel setting mixed with supernatural elements. Ong Seong Wu playing a wealthy hotel CEO also feels like a role that matches his image naturally. But I hope the drama gives him more than just the typical rich second lead character. Because sometimes second male leads in romance dramas exist only to create love triangles without enough personality. What gives me hope is that Korean dramas recently have been improving second lead writing a lot more. Some viewers even end up preferring the second lead over the main character. And honestly, Ong Seong Wu has the kind of charisma where that could absolutely happen. I also think fantasy romance works well when actors can make unbelievable situations feel emotionally realistic. Even if ghosts exist in the story, viewers still need to emotionally believe the characters. That's what separates memorable fantasy dramas from forgettable ones. And I already know viewers are going to argue over the love triangle if this drama becomes popular. Korean drama fans love debating who deserved the female lead more. And honestly, those arguments sometimes become more entertaining than the drama itself. Ong Seong Wu, Boyfriend on Demand. Now this one is interesting because Ong Seong Wu only made a special appearance in Boyfriend on Demand, but somehow people are still talking about it. And honestly, sometimes short appearances leave stronger impressions than full leading roles. The drama itself already had attention because of its virtual dating concept and Jisoo's casting. But Ong Seong Wu playing a virtual boyfriend who is secretly an NIS agent fighting terrorists on a plane sounds completely insane in the most K-drama way possible. Like only Korean dramas can mix romance technology with action thriller elements this casually. What I personally like about cameo appearances is that actors can experiment without carrying the pressure of an entire series. Ong Seong Wu apparently made enough impact that viewers remembered him despite limited screen time, and honestly, that says a lot about screen presence. It also proves something important in acting careers. Bigger roles are not always more memorable. Sometimes one iconic scene is enough to make audiences curious about an actor, and I think that's exactly what happened here. I'm also fascinated by how Korean dramas keep exploring virtual relationships lately. It probably reflects real-world loneliness and how technology changes dating culture. But at the same time, these dramas also question whether digital love can replace genuine human connection. And let's be real, if a virtual boyfriend looked like Ong Seong Wu, a lot of viewers would probably subscribe immediately too. Ong Seong Wu, Jung Family's Farm. Out of all the projects on this list, Jung Family's Farm might actually become the emotional hidden gem. Sometimes quieter rural films end up leaving the deepest impact because they focus more on relationships and human emotions rather than flashy concepts. The story about two brothers who refuse to speak to each other for 30 years while still running the same cattle farm together already sounds emotionally heavy. Just imagining that awkward daily silence creates tension immediately. Ong Seong Wu playing a veterinarian who moves into the countryside feels refreshing because it's different from glamorous CEO or fantasy characters. Rural dramas and films often reveal whether actors can feel natural on screen without relying on stylish visuals or exaggerated concepts. And honestly, I think Korean entertainment has become extremely good at countryside storytelling lately. There's something comforting about slower-paced stories where characters heal emotionally through community life and simple routines. What makes me curious is how Ong Seong-woo's character influences the two brothers. Usually, outsider characters in these stories slowly uncover hidden pain and unresolved emotions within families. If written well, this film could become one of those emotional movies people recommend years later. I also feel like actors gain a different type of credibility when they work with respected veteran actors in more grounded films. It shows they're serious about acting development rather than only chasing trendy projects. Overall, I genuinely think 2026 is becoming one of the most exciting years yet for former 101 members in acting. What started as idol careers is evolving into something much bigger, and the variety of genres they're choosing makes things even more interesting. Historical films, fantasy military comedies, action school dramas, supernatural romance, virtual dating stories, and emotional countryside films, they're really trying everything. And honestly, I think that willingness to experiment is why audiences continue supporting them. Some people still underestimate idol actors, but projects like these prove that growth matters more than old stereotypes. So now I want to know which project you're most excited for, and which former 101 member do you think currently has the strongest acting career? And if 101 ever reunited for a full drama together someday, would you actually watch it? Honestly, I think the fandom would completely lose their minds.